Good afternoon. We are here in Milan at GISE conference, and I'm honored to interview Professor Moliterno, Editor-in-Chief of JACC Intervention. It's a great pleasure for us to have you here, and I would like starting you some questions about your impression and feeling about our conference.
Well, GISE is a fantastic conference. I've had the chance to come to the meeting when it was in Genoa years ago, and
Yes.
over the past few years I've really enjoyed it here in Milan. It's a terrific meeting, full of energy, lots of people, and also some good science, so I enjoy coming.
That's great. Thanks so much. And now going a bit too into details, what does it mean being an editor of such an important journal, which really makes a difference for our interventional cardiology community?
Yeah, well, to begin, it's fun. So several years ago when I came to the GISE meeting, I met with the young GISE.
Yes.
The young fellows or people recently in training, and that was very exciting, and spent time talking with them about the journal, trying to get them excited, not only about writing papers and staying connected, but also learning how to become a good reviewer.
Yes.
So that someday as you're judging other people's work, you can have that experience. And so I think it's really important, and I think it's a challenge that we all face nowadays, is how to find time, right?
Yes.
Because we're so busy taking care of patients and taking care of our own lives and families, that how do we find that extra time then to be a good writer and a good reviewer at the same time. So I think it's really terrific.
And then a great editor, it's like...
Yeah, the same thing. So I think that, like the young GISE once upon a time, I had good mentors who helped me to review papers and to understand what was the best way to understand them. But then as an editor, it's interesting. It's maybe almost like a sculptor. You know, sometimes I imagine getting a piece of stone or raw material that's looks nice, but it's just not quite right. It's not the right material or quite the right delivery for the reader. And so among the things I enjoy is trying to figure out how can we make it better?
Yeah, exactly.
How can we make it more enjoyable for the reader or more understandable? So that's something that's exciting to me.
So I have to say that I attended last year the meeting with you, and my take-home message was, okay, it really doesn't matter if you have good data, we will find a way to get your data published. So that's a great actually role and impulse from your side also to help the authors to find a way to publish their data if they're really good data.
Yeah, all great data get published. It's a matter of where. I think among the challenges, we have so many journals, right?
Yes.
There are more than 100 cardiac journals. And so people have a lot of choices where they're going to send them. But I think among my jobs is trying to figure out what are the best papers and then to help make them even better.
Yeah.
And so we've got a great team of associate editors and reviewers who really help us to do that.
That's great. And we have had today a terrific session. With your presence, of course, but also with other editor-in-chief of other journals. And so, which are your impression, your insights from this great session? It's just concluded.
Yeah, well, I'm happy that Professor Tarantini and Mario allowed me to do this. I had this idea a few years ago at the faculty dinner, in fact. Steve Bailey and I were having a drink, and he was doing a session on cardiovascular interventions, his journal, and I was doing a separate session, and I said we should join forces. And then I said, why not get Euro intervention? And then Sunil Rao was the new editor for circulations, cardiovascular intervention. So my idea was to try to bring all the editors together and do like we did today, review some papers. My goal is to try to get the audience involved. So that was the idea with voting. What do you think about this paper? Is it a high quality, low quality? Would you like to read it? So that's ultimately the question I think an editor has to answer, is if I can only read a few papers, is this one of them?
Yeah.
And if the paper is that good that I really want to read it, then it should be in our journal.
Yeah, that's true. It was a terrific session, really well attended, and a lot of advice to the young community who actually is approaching to such important journal, because then at a certain point in our career we want to have like really a high impact journal. And so which advice could you give to the young cardiologists?
Well, I think that there's a story to be told about most data. Now, not every paper is going to get published in the very best journal, but that doesn't mean it shouldn't be published. So I'm excited that we have a number of new journals. In fact, in the JACC family, we have JACC Cardio-Oncology that's being started with Bonnie Key, and then we have JACC Case Reports with Julia Grospza. And so I think these are other opportunities, whether it's an exciting case that can be put together in a case report or in a case series, or a new area for us, cardio-oncology. And so I think that, cardiology obviously is all of medicine, and I think it's trying to find those opportunities for fellows, for young authors to figure out how can I make this story interesting and worth telling, worth reading by the reader and of that particular journal. So I think there's lots of opportunities.
Yes.
I think the most important thing is to read a lot, because when you read high quality, then you start thinking in a high quality sense. And then I think the other thing is finding a great mentor, somebody who can help guide you through the process.
That can be difficult at a certain time, but that's great advice.
Yes.
Well, I thank you so much again for being here with us, and really hope to see you again, and to organize such terrific session as the one we had today, because this is what we really need in our society, like having collaboration and important person like you to guide us on a scientific way.
Well, my hope is that we can continue doing such a session, and so I hope that people watching this and that the GISE audience will write in and contact the organizers about how we can make the session even better for the future. Thank you.
That's our aim. Okay, thank you.